Hello everybody out there watching on YouTube, and welcome to race number 2 of Season 6 of the NNSCRA Marvel Studios Cup Series. I'm Levi McIntyre, the voice of the NNSCRA Marvel Studios Cup Series, here to welcome you to the Lifelock 400 at Michigan International Speedway as we're getting set for 30 laps of racing here at this big and fast 2-mile racetrack. But I am not alone for this race. Please welcome two legends. First, we got the boss, Seth Cole.
The boss? Okay, well,
He's the legit boss.
No, I am not. Don't you dare pin that meme on me. That's your meme for all time.
And as you can tell by the voice, we are also joined by the Daytona 500 winner from last week, Michael Norman.
Yo, this is not the second time we did this intro.
Of course it is. But nonetheless, so we are here at Michigan after a very, very successful Daytona Speedweek last week. But before we take a look at everything, let's actually look at the point standings. So after the Daytona 500, Michael Norman had the points lead coming into the race today. And then you got Jonathan Zorline in second, Matt McIntyre third, Charles Sanford fourth, already off to a better start than last season where he finished last in points. And then Cole Deaver in fifth, Anthony McCreary sixth, Carson Gum seventh, James Qualls eighth, Joshua Sekuli ninth, and then a tie for 10th. With Zachary Fitzwater and James Shelley. But let's take a look at the starting lineup. Starting in the last row is James Shelley and Jessica Shelton.
Wow, you start directly with last place. Good job.
I do that all the time. But
well, okay, I'll be honest. I've never actually seen any of your races since this is the first season I've actually been in.
Wow, okay.
No, this is the first time I've actually been in a series of Levi's in a while, so you got to cut me some slack here.
Yeah, it's been a couple of years.
I will cut you nothing.
Instead, you'll cut him.
Demonetized.
I don't think so. But nonetheless, so the top 10. Now, as I mentioned ad nauseum last week, we got two rookies who are a married couple, Melissa Alexander, Joey Parkhill. Well, they are starting on the front row for today with Melissa on the pole in them Zev cars. Yeah, I knew that was coming. Thank you, Michael. Very professional.
Have hold and start in the front row until death do them part.
Starting in the second row, we got Jake Baskinger and Dylan Poteet. Row 3.
They are not a couple. Let's just get that clear.
Row 3, we have Jay Jefferson and Joshua Collard. Row 4, we got Cole Baker and Bradley Zorgdragger. And then row 5, Johnny Gardner and James
Zorgdragger.
Hey, Bradley Zorgdragger, the most metal name in history. But anyways, before we get to the command, I do want to ask Michael this. So, what was your emotions like after winning your first race back on this channel in a long, long time, and your first start in this series being the Daytona 500?
Well, if my screen doesn't go blank here on me. Basically, I've been trying for a long time, over a long span of different offline racing leagues, and to finally win the Daytona 500 in any league offline is freaking spectacular. So I'm very happy I finally got that notch under my belt, as well as an offline champion with Trent Dunham in the Sega Cup Series, both as a rookie. So I've won both big-time titles in a way as a rookie, so I'm pretty happy. That was pretty good.
I'm just going to point out the fact that I still have filed a case with a local Daytona courthouse to have that win encumbered. I'm still waiting for word back.
Too bad, Seth. It's too bad.
Anyway,
I won, and no one could take that from me.
Except Judge Judy.
Epic silence.
Drivers, start your engines!
More epic silence. A lot of epic silence. Levi, if you're talking, it's not coming through, man.
I'm not.
There you are. Okay. Okay, then epic silence.
I was just waiting for for like sad music to start playing and rip Levi McIntyre.
But
Sad
no,
music. No, it's sad music as they're coming out of pit lane because they know what's about to happen.
but no, like whenever I said let's get to command, yeah, my mic was muted. I don't know why, but
Good
it
job.
happens. But now
Good
that all 40 drivers are on the racetrack, so any predictions for this race? And we'll start
No,
with
do not start that with us. You do not want our predictions.
Who wants to be jinxed today?
I don't know. It might make for a more entertaining race that way. Michael,
Nope, I refuse.
you have to.
Nope,
Your contract.
Yeah, it's in your contract.
I didn't sign shit.
Yes, you did. When you were hungover, you didn't realize that after celebrating at Daytona, you signed a contract.
Yeah, he got
I
too drunk
I
on
picked the pace car.
Budweiser.
Okay, there you go.
At least that's a car. Anyway, Seth, you also got to pick the pace car.
No, I'm not gonna pick the pace car just because I think he'll only lead one lap. I'm gonna go. I'll go mid-pack. I think with what you said, with Charles Sanford having a struggling year last year and getting a good run, I think that it's a good start to the season. I think he'll continue it on. He's always seemed to be good at the fast speedways, so I'll go with him.
All right, and then
Can't wait to see the Reese's getting melted in turn 1.
And then for my pick, I'm actually going Cole Baker, who's starting 7th right there. But anyways, pace car in the pit road. And it's time to boogity, 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 go racing.
Hey, Steph, if you happen to have access to your Facebook, look at the picture I just sent you.
Oh my goodness, we're sending nudes on during a race. That's great.
Never. Ew, it's gross. You're
You're
not a
wide
girl,
at
so I
the
don't
front
do it.
already. Levi, I do have a question for you, seeing how they were kind of sliding around there through turn 1. I know that the 2019 rules package got used at Daytona. Are we using that here at Michigan?
Nope, we're using the normal package at all tracks aside from restrictor plate tracks.
Okie dokie. I'm seeing double at the front. This is creepy.
2 Bass Pro schemes, as it was Baskinger and Jefferson at the line, but it was Baskinger who led the lap, but now Jay Jefferson has the race lead. As Cole Baker's now going to the inside.
Inside line, definitely the fastest way around the racetrack, it seems, although Jefferson holding pretty well on the high side down the backstretch.
We'll see if that outside line's going to be the preferred line as the race goes along, because during the Gatorade duels at Daytona last week, it was a very strange case of night and day, essentially, not just because both races were taking place on different times, Duel 1 being in the day, Duel 2 at night, but during
they're going 4 wide.
But during Duel number 1, it was the bottom lane that was kicking in, whereas in Duel 2, it was the high line that kicked in. But even though we're talking about 2 completely different tracks, it just depends on what these drivers are wanting to do to make moves. As right now, battle between the Coles, Deaver and Baker.
I don't know what it is either. It always seems like in the 2 duels, one is completely different from the other. I don't understand how it always seems to happen to be that way, but I can't tell you the number of times that I've had 2 duels at Daytona, and one of them is always really exciting, and then the other one is just kind of like, okay, well, that just happened. So I hear what you're saying.
As anyways, Phil Parker now has the race lead. For now, as here comes defending series champion, Kamikaze himself, Dylan Jacobs, as he's got a run down the inside.
And Young right behind him.
And Jordan Forbes, Dylan Jacobs' teammate and rookie in that 77 Yoshi scheme, is trying to get Dylan Young up to the front, and it's working because here comes the 2.
Hopefully Dylan Young freaking does a lot better in this series than he is in my series.
And as I could see, whenever...
Deep.
Yeah, I was about to say, whenever it seems like off of 2 when they're 3 wide, that, just like Daytona last week, the very outside line gets the wall a little bit off of turn 2.
Do you hear the scraping? It's possible, you know, these cars carry so much speed off the corner, it kind of propels them into the wall. Kind of like a situation at at Rockingham, where the wall just comes up out of nowhere and bites you. And it's possible to have the same thing here.
James Qualls led at the line. Rob Evans has the lead now, but here comes last week's winner, Michael Norman, trying to go 2 in a row to get this rookie season started.
Oh, please.
But also here comes Anthony McCreary in the 61 for Backmarker Motorsports, trying to work his way through the middle, but he's got Zachary Fitzwater to his inside.
Seth, you're just mad because you've never won a Daytona 500.
You know what? Cash remembered back about a month ago to a Daytona 500 that was won. Yeah, you know what? But anyway, one thing I'm noticing here, especially that is very typical of these big.
Oh, I
speedways.
saw a car get turned, and the caution is out.
Tamper? Is it?
Oh, and they're
Tamper?
wrecking even more.
Oh!
Miles is around. Matthews is spun.
Kyle Matthews.
Contact back here with Matthews and who's that? Jake Rogers, who got damage.
That's a name I haven't heard of in a while.
I think Rogers was the first car that went around that you saw.
I know this is the guy I saw get turned at first, and that's
okay.
Jordan Forbes in the 77. He's got big time damage on both sides of his car, as you can tell right there. And then Jay Jefferson, he looks to be okay.
I think he's okay. Yeah, I think he's all right.
I don't know, Logan Bradley, I thought I saw get a piece of it, but maybe I just saw stuff. I know Hartnett right there in the 20, he was involved a little bit. He's got a little bit of a dent on the driver's side.
I think Seth Cole got a little piece of it too. It was close. I think he's got a little damage on the hood.
Yeah. But yeah, our first caution comes out here today for a multi-car crash, as Zachary Fitzwater has the race lead, but let's stay here and see if they're going to go into pit road or not, because they are going to have to pit at least once here in this race. And
how many laps
yes,
did
they are.
30?
Yep.
Yeah, but this early, I don't know. They might not be within the fuel window to make it the rest of the way, even if they pit now.
What's the wear at? That's what I want to know. Even though this times 2 and this track is kind of gripped up, we could just see some fuel only stops.
We could. We very well could. Let's see what happens.
Yeah. I mean, it's possible. I mean, I'm sure either 2 tires are at most because these cars
I
didn't
see a
use
couple
that much
cars
gas.
going 4 tires.
I mean, I think these drivers are going to have to go with 2 cans of fuel anyway, so you might as well get the 4 tires while you're there.
I wouldn't see why they haven't been out on the track that long.
Oh, but one thing that I noticed that I was going to say before that wreck broke out is I'm not seeing drivers being able to hold the lead very well. A lot of maneuverability being able to pass both low and high. So I think that the 4 tires give you more grip to be able to make those kind of moves.
The 09
And
car gets
the
out
09
first.
of Rafael Leduc is now going to be the race leader when we get back to racing. And then Jake Baskinger, James McLeod, Zachary Fitzwater, and Matt McIntyre will be your top 5. As yes,
I don't know
the
if-
top 5.
I don't know if Fitzwater's team had a slow stop or if these guys played some strategy, but Fitzwater lost 4 spots on pit road.
Yeah, I think it might have been
Your
because
face
of
lost
trying
4
to.
spots on pit road.
I know.
It might have been because he had to maneuver around so many other drivers that were pitting around him and going by. That could have been a case. But, yeah, Rafael Leduc and that Lowe's Chevy for Retro Racing Enterprises has the race lead for now. But we're going to take a break and take a look and see what brought the caution out for the first time today here at Michigan. Well, here's a look at what happened, and this has been a case all day so far. If you're up at the very outside lane and you got too much of a run, you may get the walls right there. Jordan Forbes gets the wall and comes down in front of his boss and teammate, Dylan Jacobs, and then down into Jake Rogers, and they go for a spin, but the real action's going to happen. Watch the 22 of Benjamin Miles comes up into Emmanuel Hartnett. Both take hard hits into the outside concrete wall, and then Kyle Matthews gets involved, and then down into Logan Bradley, as causing a bit of a logjam as Jay Jefferson trying to slow down to avoid hitting the 22, and just a little touch there, but nothing major. Then in the Seth Cole, just a tad, but doesn't go for any hits or nothing like that, so both of those guys got through relatively unscathed. And then Jake Rogers, after spinning, is going to come up and slam into Kyle Matthews in the driver's side. Not sure why that happened. Maybe he just couldn't turn quick enough, but yeah, big multi-car crash. brought out the caution for the first time today here in Michigan, and we're going to go ahead and take you to the restart for the Lifelock 400. So after that first caution, only one car retired out of the race after that crash, and that was Benjamin Miles. So unfortunately, he won't be getting any points, as he's going to be in the bottom 5, and where if you finish in the bottom 5, you won't get any points. So that's going to be a tough hill for the 22 to climb going into next week. But anyways, back up here at the front, some pit strategy took place as far as who was going to take what, either 2 tires or 4 tires, fuel only or whatnot. But Raphael Leduc has the race lead now. Second is Jake Baskinger. Third is James McLeod. Fourth, Zachary Fitzwater. Fifth is Matt McIntyre. Sixth is Joey Parkhill. Seventh, Joshua Collard. Eighth, Bradley Zordragger. Ninth, Michael Norman. 10th, Anthony McCrory. 11th, James Shelley. 12th, Tim Fiegel. 13th, Charles Sanford. 14th, Rob Evans. 15th, Jonathan Zorline. 16th is Jessica Shelton. 17th, Dylan Poteet. 18th, Joshua Sekuli. 19th, James Qualls. 20th, Dylan Young. 21st is Cole Deaver. 22nd, Dylan Jacobs. 23rd, Caleb Kilburn. 24th is Chris Dollarton. Yes, he's in a nationwide scheme. Big Whoop wanna fight about it? Didn't think so. 25th is Carson Gum. 26th is Trent Dunham. 27th, Cole Baker. 28th, Phil Parker. 29th, Seth Cole. 30th is DJ Curtis. 31st, Melissa Alexander. 32nd, Cody Lamas. 33rd, Jay Jefferson. 34th is Emmanuel Hartnett. 35th, Kyle Matthews. 36th, Jordan Forbes. 37th, Jake Rogers. 38th, Johnny Gardner. And then 39th, Logan Bradley, as the pace car pulls in the pit road. And we're getting ready to go back to racing with 19 to go.
Going back to Benjamin Miles, first retiree out of the race. This is going to be a hard for him in more ways than one, getting no points. He had a great run at Daytona, came in 12th in the points. So this is going to have him free fall through the standings, which we know early on in the season, especially, a poor performance can lose you as many as 8-10 spots.
Absolutely. Has already a couple of moves being made. Jake Baskinger trying to go by Raphael Leduc in the 09, as Zachary Fitzwater has already gone up to 3rd. Now is about to challenge for 2nd.
We got the restart back on, what was it, lap 12, so with having about 3-4 pace laps, these guys might be okay to make it the rest of the way on fuel.
Maybe so. If not, we could see towards the very end of the race, like with 2 or 3 to go, and it's happened many times at here and California particularly, where they have to short pit and then come into the pits with a couple laps left, and it all comes down to who can have or who has the most gas by the end.
First time we've seen Matt McIntyre really up here towards the front of the field. Good run there for the 14, going up the middle.
Outside, inside line. McLeod there in the middle. Trying to get up, this track is plenty wide enough, and with the repave, these cars are going pretty well. A lot of drafting will come into play here. Is that Jessica Shelton on the inside going for 2nd?
Remember, she started in the front row, or not the front row, wow, I'm dyslexic. She started in the final row with James Shelley, and she's been able to work her way midway through this race up into the 2nd position. Shut up!
Good
Professionalism.
Good job, Seth. Good job. Good job.
And of course, a golf clap at the end. But anyways, Jessica Shelton out to the inside for the lead, but she ain't going to lead that lap, at least not just yet. Now could get a big run going here into turn 1. Can she clear him off of 2 is the question. Not quite.
No, not going to quite be able to.
I want to take a moment and talk to all fans of the NASCAR portion of Levi's YouTube channel, and start a petition. I want everybody to sign to get Levi to upgrade to the newer mods.
No, it ain't gonna happen, Michael. So you might as well give up.
Never. I refuse to give up.
I'd like to throw out a useless fun fact. Michael picked a pace car to win. I picked Charles Sanford. Right now, Michael's driver has led 5 more laps than my driver in this race.
Well then, as I saw Anthony McCurry get the wall off of turn 2 back there, Sheldon leads and now 3 wide for second. Deaver, Zorgdrager, and Baskinger.
Ooh, is that a 15? What kind of 15 car is that? I've never seen a 15 car like that before.
It's a Dale Jr. Budweiser scheme.
On
Pretty
a 15?
impressed there with Zordrager, because if I recall correctly, I think before that first caution came out, I think Zordrager was running in second place, kind of dropped back after the pit stops, and has fought his way back up nicely into the top 10, so strong run for the 66.
Yeah, single car team. In fact, the only single car team this season. So he's a loner in this series.
The funny thing is, I've seen so many times with single car operations, and they always seem to, be the more consistent, because when you think about it, you got these big teams of 3 and 4 cars, so they have to split up their equipment and everything between 4 different drivers' teams. When you're a single car team, you can focus on one car, and usually that ends up being that primary focus that ends up having you have good performance race after race.
Who's in the 00?
That would be
Phil
Parker.
Okay, good. If it was Kev Shearer, I was gonna start calling him names.
Yeah, Phil Parker, one of the 4 drivers. Actually, no, one of the 5 drivers for Curtis McIntyre Racing, which is a co-owned operation by Matt McIntyre and DJ Curtis. You got the 00, the 4, the 10, 14, and 41. And it looks like they're about to catch Jake Rogers. This could be big.
They're going to catch him in the corner, too. Maybe off turn 2, hopefully. Nope. Right in turn 2.
Right in front of Phil Parker, and now he's going to dive low and block Zordrager.
The wall. Shelton got the wall. I couldn't tell who that was behind her. Was that the 14?
No, that's the 10 of Joshua Sakuli.
Oh, but I was talking about a little bit further back. That was Matt McIntyre that got the wall off too, and I think
right
Passenger
there
did as well.
I was gonna block the entire middle line here.
Where did Trent Dunham come from?
Trent Dunham now up here into the top 10.
Look, I think I have to admit, I have to brag and say that my series has to be the one series where Trent had the most wins in one season, with 5.
Oh, and they're gonna catch Logan Bradley too. Another slow car.
Now, Logan Bradley, I don't think got a whole lot of damage from the first caution wreck, but maybe something on pit road caused him to be off the pace.
I don't know, it's a strange situation, but that is helping to bring the rest of the field back up to the front as Cole Deaver takes the lead back, but Shelton and Rob Evans right behind. And I mentioned this joke before, but it's almost a sacrilege to have Gardner and Rob's schemes in this series because they're running Justice League when this is a Marvel series, but I'll let it slide.
Let's quickly take a moment to realize we have exactly 10 laps to go, coming to 9, and we haven't seen these cars come down pit road for a second time. So I'm starting to believe it might be getting a little close.
Yeah, I was double checking to make sure nobody was on pit road, and nobody was. And Shelton, who impressive run, started dead last up to the lead with a shot to win this thing. But here comes Trent Dunham to the inside with help from James Qualls.
You talk about Shelton, but how about James Shelley, who also started in that final row? He's up inside the top 10 there as well, that white car back there. So both the drivers that started in the final row are now up inside the top 10 in the closing stages of this race.
Yeah, James Shelley and the Blame Shelley insurance scheme finally in this series. Because when something goes wrong, we blame Shelley for it all.
Always.
3 wide for the lead, and Jake Baskinger, you can't shake this guy. He's been a front runner for the majority of this race. Back up to the front now, and he's got his teammate Carson Gum right behind him for the spot as well.
I mean, what was it, like maybe 3-4 laps ago, I saw Jake Baskinger 5th on the outside line dropping back, and he's been able to make his way back to the bottom and work back up to the front. So I think he's got maybe one of the strongest cars of the day, and for a moment there, I thought the 00 was lifting through the corner. I thought maybe he was coming to pit road, but nope, he's still staying side by side in a battle for second with Carson.
as Sheldon's going to try and transition to the bottom if she can get clear of the 10 of Sekuli, and she does.
Yep, she does. And look at that, she got a nice run there too. That car almost went straight through turn 2. Great straightaway speed coming down the backstretch.
Yeah, went on that crossover move from the top to the bottom, but not quite enough speed to go by Phil Parker just yet. As speaking of Parker, he's going to the inside for the lead underneath Baskinger.
Boy, he made an abrasive move too. I thought for sure that was an indication to come to pit road. 6 laps to go as they cross the start-finish line.
It's the second time Phil Parker's run way down on the bottom in 3 and 4, so he's fooled me on 1 lap, fooled Michael on 1 lap, because he's running so far down you think he's trying to get out of everybody's way to come to pit lane, but he's not.
Couple other cars up ahead, Kyle Matthews, Emmanuel Hartnett, and Jordan Forbes.
They're all in a group together, which will be even more difficult for the leaders to get around.
Yeah, if they don't have to come into the pits as this race progresses. And now Sheldon back to the lead, but here comes Baskinger again. But we got a couple other contenders.
Ford all up here at the front. Yeah, James Qualls. I was noticing him working his way up here towards the front.
And Dylan Poteet on the outside trying to run the outside line.
I mean, who is that guy? Who is Dylan Poteet?
Of course.
Do you know who Dylan Poteet is?
He's a Christmas miracle, is all I know.
And he likes to party!
Yeah.
But anyways, back up here at the front, James Qualls trying to get a run on the inside, but they are rapidly catching these 3 cars.
Look at the amount of laps that we have left, too. So more than likely, if we end up having them catch this group, this could be the battle for the win, depending on who makes it through this traffic as best they can. They were almost 4 wide catching up on this pack.
Trent had a good run, but had to back out because he saw the lap cars ahead of him.
Go lane and hope nobody's in it.
Qualls trying to go on the outside, but now it's getting boxed in by Hartnett.
Oh man, Kyle Matthews got loose in the middle there. That was close.
And another car, Rogers, again, they're going to catch him too.
Parker's going to stick Qualls and Baskinger up there, get them boxed in. He's going to lead Trent Dunham to the front.
Man,
3 to go.
It's Deaver in third.
I don't know how the Marvel Cup Series officials are even letting the 66 stay on the racetrack. He is definitely not up to a minimum speed.
That's the 56. You can't read.
Sorry, I can't.
Oh, how in the world did they not spin?
Baskinger and Qualls, what a save!
Unbelievable.
That's just a product of all these lap
Oh,
cars.
Wait a minute.
They're coming in. Some are coming in. Or maybe not.
They picked us out.
No, that's just because That's because they just had to run that low to avoid all the lap cars. Back at the
that
front,
could have been the case.
Trent Dunham was scored the leader, but now he's not anymore.
Cole Deaver has the lead as Tim Fiegel, who's an affiliate teammate of Deaver's, because remember, Sega Motorsports and Michael Norman Motorsports are in close affiliation together, so kind of technically teammates battling for the lead, and even Trent Dunham, who is Fiegel's direct teammate, he's up here in the mix as well. It's going to come down to one of these five: Deaver, Fiegel, Dunham, Parker, or Evans.
You can bet they may be teammates, they may be affiliates. They may be teammates, they may be affiliates, but they're not going to work together.
White flag is out. But they may end up catching Logan Bradley here soon. I don't know. It's going to be close.
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
It's going to be close, though. But I was going to say, if they were to have caught the 90, then the 09 of Rafael Leduc is just sneaking his way up there. He could have been up here to battle, but don't look like it's happening. Getting ready to come off a turn 4 for the final time. Cole Deaver trying to hold on.
Fiegel, I don't think, was close enough to make a move.
Not quite, and the checkered flag is waving. Cole Deaver wins the Lifelock 400 at Michigan.
Back-to-back wins for Michael Norman Motorsports to start out the season.
Indeed. Great start for that team.
I mean, not to brag or anything, but we've got a decent super speedway package. But we've been working on the other racetracks, the regular speedways and other things. So hopefully we've hit something.
I mean, just for a driver, what a great start to the year for Cole Deaver. 5th at Daytona and a win here today. Definitely getting the season started off right.
I could agree to that.
And I think Levi has muted himself again.
Probably
I was
on
saying,
accident.
by accident. I was trying to say that, Cole Deaver, after he took a couple seasons off from this series to focus on lower series racing like the Amazon Prime Truck Series last year, it's definitely seemed to have boosted his confidence back as, 2 straight top 5 finishes to kickstart this season. But let's look at the rest of the results. Tim Fiegel with a strong performance in that second spot. Phil Parker, who was a front runner majority of the day, comes through with a third place run. Rob Evans, solid performance in fourth. And then Trent Dunham rounding out the top 5 in fifth. And I think Deaver just ran out of fuel because I don't hear engine sound. So some of these guys were 1 lap to the good, which is insane. Rafael Leduc, who struggled last week at Daytona, comes through with a 6th place finish. Matt McIntyre with a great run in 7th. Carson Gum, great run in the 8th spot. DJ Curtis, solid performance in 9th. And then Seth Cole rounding out the top 10. And then there's...
Deaver all by himself. Everybody else must have he must have did a victory lap.
Yeah, he and Fiegel did, which was weird. But, there's the rest of your top 20. And then there's your top 30. And then the rest of the field in the bottom 5 who won't be getting points are Kyle Matthews, Emmanuel Hartnett, Logan Bradley, Jake Rogers, and Benjamin Miles. Tough break for those guys.
As much as I hate to talk bad about my own self, the 3-car didn't finish very well after his got caught up in all that traffic. Ended up finishing, I think it was 29th.
The guy I picked to win didn't DNF, but he finished 31st. So I guess there's still some bad luck from making picks.
See. Now I'm gonna tell Charles that you picked him to do good, and I'm gonna tell him that he did horribly bad. It is gonna be all your fault.
Wow. I'll blame Shelly. Because we blame everything on Shelly.
So, anyways, that does it for our coverage here today at Michigan. Where do we go to next time? I don't know. But we'll find out.
Great way.
Gotta go to Narnia.
Well, Seth Cole for sure is going to Narnia after that performance.
Every day I go to Narnia.
Seth, you need to, you definitely need to, let people know. Or not let people know, but you need to create a track called Narnia, since you're good at making tracks.
Well, anyways, without further ado, thank you guys so much for watching this race, and I'd like to thank Michael and Seth for stopping by today.
Absolutely, it's always fun.
Not a problem. Glad to be here.
All right, and before we sign off, here are your final results, rookie points, and regular points heading into our next race. But until then, this is Levi McIntyre signing off.